Why wouldn't you want to be me? I'm 43 years old. I'm in the best shape of my life besides when I was a teenager. Okay?
Whoa, this guy had major confidence.
How's it going, guys? DSP is absolutely losing his mind. After a short break, he returns and he's got a brand new plan for everybody. He's going to sue every single detractor who's ever came into his path. Well, he's not going to do it right now, but he's got plans to. Can you imagine how shaken his donators are at the moment? You know, if this happens, they're going to be broke year round. I don't even know what they're going to do. But if it all works out, who cares how much money they spent, because they were on the winning side of the battle. They helped DSP's content change forever. That way he can sit in silence as long as he wants, beg as much as he needs, until the cycle repeats itself. But I'm not going to hold you guys too long in the intro. We got a lot of video to get into right now, so let's go ahead and jump into it.
This entire vortex around me is just that, around me and dependent upon me. And to what I'm being told and from what I'm understanding, all right, this week, because I was not here streaming and making content for them to steal, lie about, and regurgitate as toxic, they literally had nothing to do. And they were losing their fucking minds. Like, they were completely stir crazy. They didn't know what to say, they have no original content. So they had to like really go out on a limb in order to try to find things to talk about. And essentially their viewership was monstrously down. Some of them actually gave up and stopped making content for the time being. That in a court of law is the evidence you need to prove that someone is a thief and breaking the law. Because you understand that if they actually had content of their own, then they would have kept making it. But they didn't. They waited for me to come back to start stealing again. So in a court of law, I now have an actual week on record where their views are recorded, their content uploads behavior is recorded. I have everything I need. I'm good. As of today, officially, there are parties involved documenting all of that. Who's doing what, how often they're doing it, how much they're doing it, when they're doing it, what they're actually doing. Like, are you actually rebroadcasting me fully? Are you just clipping and editing and doing transformative work? All of that is being documented as of today, formally. I'm going to have everything I need in the future. So if you're out there and you think you've had the gravy train all this time and, oh, it's all been free and clear, as of today, I'm giving you official notice publicly. I'm sure this will be clipped. Everything is now being documented. Well, pretty soon, you're not going to have that money anymore. And in fact, all the money that you've made is going to be mine. You understand? So I'm just saying, now might be a good time to like go get a job and get some job applications out there. Maybe go, sing some fries, or maybe Uber driver or something, If anyone does want to actually live rebroadcast me and does not want to actually suffer legal ramifications down the line, because if you don't get permission from me, you will, you can contact me and we can talk about it. Maybe we can work out a licensing fee where I say you can live rebroadcast me on a daily basis as long as there's a contribution or an agreement or something in place.
So after a short break from streaming, DSP returns a changed man. His mentality was completely different, and I can only assume, in fact this is my headcanon, that DSP was just wandering around town. His habits kicked in and he started begging people for money. He's just asking random strangers. He made sure to wear his worst PJs, what he wore on stream before LTG questioned his sexy. And while he was meandering around, covered in mud, rained on, looking sad as he possibly can, basically the same looks he gives his donators when things are looking a little low. And Cat refused to pick him up at the designated time, so he had to go overtime, and you know how much DSP hates that. So the begging kicked in overdrive, and he wandered around and found a businessman, and the guy pulled him inside, feeling real sorry for the man. He doesn't realize he lives in a gated community or anything like that, and he has a talk with him. He's like, man, what's going on in your life? Buys him a hot coffee, says, what's wrong? Really, tell me what's going on in your life. And DSP tells him 15 years of dealing with detractors. He can't take this no more, man. So now he's just wandering around the streets, waiting for his wife to get home from her boyfriend's house. And, this is what he's got to do nowadays. This is all he's got, thanks to the detractors. And the guy said, you know what? If this was the regular business, you should take them to court. And DSP said, you know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. It's almost like they got the idea from H3H3, but have no idea what what he done. They didn't even really research it. They just said, oh, you can do that? Okay, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do now. But DSP does it in the worst way possible, because DSP like frames it in a way like, okay guys, this isn't a threat, but I'm also gonna take away all of your livelihood. You had fun before, but not today. Not after what I'm going to do to you. Now, I'm not gonna do it today. You can donate me money every single month, or maybe we can do it yearly. We'll get something going, you know, I'll get all of your information, and you know, things will go smooth after that. It's not like when DSP ran a forum years ago that he had his own fans submit the other information to him, and he used that against one of his fans. So you can only imagine what he would do to a detractor's information. DSP is incredibly untrustworthy, and it's so funny DSP's reasoning of why this is going to work, why he's got 100% proof, because when he took a break, so did they. It's not like DSP streams like 6 days a week, and anyone who like just covers DSP would like that break themselves. It's like a freebie right there. All right, I don't have to cover DSP. And I guarantee you like 90% of the people who do cover you DSP still uploaded your classic stuff because you've been doing things for 15 years. Some people probably did stop. Some people probably didn't have anything going on. And there's also tons of other people who cover you who did other stuff while you were gone. You're not special. You're just a supreme crash out.
Because if you actually think that because someone on the internet streams, that they owe you full transparency of everything that they ever have done, you are actually mentally deficient from being a normal human, and you need to go speak to a professional for help right now. And I'm speaking directly to my detractors right now. You're all mentally deficient, and you do need to seek help because, number one, you're breaking the law, and number two, you're ruining your life and the lives of everyone around you with your actions. You're sick. You're toxic people. And I know that you would have probably tried to hurt me and or everyone around me. You know what would happen immediately? Oh, he's looking for a sob story so that people will come and support him because of this. What? He is a horrible person because he's using this as ammo to try to raise money. No, I'm not. Not at all. I'm not going to tell you a single thing about what happened because it has nothing to do with this at all. You know, you're coming here, you're hanging out with me, you're enjoying the content, support it by all means. And that's what people have been doing. That's what's actually angering people. That unlike previous where, you know, there was a few months there where I was getting tons of support because I was associated with another group. Well, I'm not associated with that group anymore, but I'm still making the same amount, right? Because people actually like the content, because people like me. Unlike you, because when I was gone, your content was dead. No one cared about you when I was gone because they're not watching for you. They're watching for me. Don't you get it, Leech? Don't you get it, Parasite? I'm the content. That's why I'm entitled to everything you get out of it, all right? Here's what happened. You blew it! And what I mean when I say that, you blew it, is that back when I used to be transparent about everything, people used it in a very malicious ways. You know, they used stuff that you would think would be just commonplace information, and they used it to try to harass, to try to mess with me, and not just me, but the people around me, my friends and my family, all of that. And because of that, because you had power and you misused it, you will no longer have that power. I've taken that away from you now. So now you just sit there and you'll know what I tell you, and you won't know anything further, and you'll like it. And there's nothing you can do about it. Sorry. At one point, I would have been more transparent, but you just don't deserve it with the behaviors that certain people have had on the internet. You don't deserve that level of transparency any further. You can't be trusted with it. That's the truth is, you just can't be trusted with it. I was on a vacation. I wish I was on a vacation. I wish I could have come back tan and happy, like I said, and be like, yeah, and tell you all about what I did. I mean, if I actually went on a vacation, I probably would tell you about it because it would be over. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. It was no vacation at all. It was pretty bad. It was, like I said, one of the worst weeks of my life. Right now, being back on stream is way more like a vacation because I get to enjoy games and have fun with you guys. Again, I keep telling you, I love what I do for a living, and I love the insane idiots who say, they insist that I hate this. No, I love this. I love being here. I love chilling with you. I love talking. I love playing games and having fun and laughing and enjoying life. This is what it's all about, and the fact I make a living doing it is insane, but crazy positive at the same time. I did not have a single moment of fun in the days that I was away. I promise you that.
It's so funny when DSP lies and then like claims he's not lying by saying the detractors are saying that DSP is saying this, that, and the third, and that it's not true because DSP is saying it. When any other streamer in the world has something bad that happens to them and they have to take a break, they might mention it or they might not. And if they do mention it, when they come back, It's not this like pity party. No one's supposed to feel sorry for you. You just took a break from your content. It's like taking a week off work. When you come back, your coworkers aren't supposed to be asking you what was wrong. Some may feel like they have a good relationship with you, and that's where you should leave it at, right? But DSP comes back and says, oh no, everyone's gonna be asking me about what I'm doing, and I'm not gonna tell them. I don't want sympathy. It was a terrible week. Like, please don't donate me any pity bucks. This would be different if you haven't done it also 1,000+ times, DSP. It would be an entirely different situation if this was a one-off scenario. People see right through it. If you didn't want people to talk about it, if you didn't want people to feel sorry for you, you wouldn't mention it at all. And if someone brought it up in like a super chat or a comment that caught your attention, you could simply say, nah, it wasn't the best week, but I don't really feel like talking about it. Let's move on to better content, like any other content creator would do, and people would forget about it quickly, especially you, DSP, because you have so much crazy stuff going on in your life every single day. You're so documented. People would forget about this, but the fact you're making a big deal out of this, like, makes people see right through you. We all know you took like a week off or something like that. That's 2 streams every single day. That's 12 paychecks you missed out on. So you're trying to recoup, you're trying to hit the next DSP tries it.
Ozzy asked, do I regret not going to Hogan's Bar? Let me think about this. Do I regret flying across the country with an obviously grossly overweight dude who creepily wanted to pay my way to hang out with him at a wrestler's bar in Florida? I think I made the right decision ultimately. I'm just saying. I think I'm in a really good position right now where I didn't have to like live with horrible regrets and things. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Christ is King says, not to add any negativity to the mix, but people just look for anything to belittle you on, valid or not, because they have, shortcomings and problems in their own lives. Correct. People look at me and say, I don't want to be him. Why? Why wouldn't you want to be me? I'm 43 years old. I'm in the best shape of my life besides when I was a teenager. Okay? I'm doing well for myself. My streams are doing absolutely great. I'm hitting goals. I'm making great money. My setup is amazing. I get to do what I love for a living, playing video games and hang out every single day, full time. I have a loving wife who I love to death, and she loves me to death. We have a great house we live in. We have an awesome pet cat. Like, what exactly is there to not like besides a bunch of fucking losers on the internet who say nasty things about me every day? Why do I care? I'm living the life. Why do I give a shit about these no-load, nonsensical people on the internet? Nobody cares about the shit on the internet. Here's my real life around me that I get to enjoy, and I get to ignore all these weirdos on the internet. Sounds like a good deal to me, but to them, I'm living one of the worst lives possible. That's called coping. That's exactly what that's called. Having to cope because your life sucks, my life's great, you're incredibly jealous of me, so you try to bring me down. But it doesn't work because I live in the real world while you live in the virtual world because your virtual existence is better than your real one. Oopsie poopsie, mine's better. So, too bad. People have brought this up before. Someone tipped $1 and they said, I don't understand why you have the same goal on your day and night streams because they're different lengths, right? Your earlier stream is over 4 hours long. Your night stream's usually between 2 and 3 hours long. So why do you have the same goal, support goal for each? Why not have a bigger goal for your first stream and a smaller goal for your late stream? Okay? The answer is simple. I've answered this before, but I haven't talked about it in a while because my support is not directly proportional to the length that I run a stream. It's not. It's not like, oh, Phil's earning a certain amount per hour.
There's so many reasons I think people should not want to be you, DSP. Not only for the fact I don't think people should want to be others, you should strive to be the best you can be, but you are DSP. Like, come on now. Like, the entire internet is typically laughing at you like 99% of the time. The 1% they wasn't was when they was hyping you up, you know, your King Snake arc, when they were like, yeah, let's get DSP's ego through the roof right now. Let's see what'll happen. The Kino Casino arc was amazing because every single day you got on stream, you was yelling at the detractors. You thought you was so smart, and everyone in the world could see that you were about to get played hard. Everybody but you. And when you did get played, you was like a kid on the playground who got fooled by the other kids. It was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna let this sit on me. I'm gonna say I knew the entire time. In fact, I knew you guys were gonna play me, so this was like a double con. I have the one up on you. I was the King Snake. I just wanted to figure everything out, and now your little group is going to come crashing down around you. How is that? And everyone else just sits there and laughs, and then they might change schools afterwards. But unfortunately for DSP, he's got to stay on YouTube at this point. Nowhere else will accept him, especially Kick. Kick will not accept him anymore because he ruined his entire fan base on there. And when you say you have a loving relationship, most people who have a loving relationship wouldn't say like, oh, spending time with my wife is a chore, which you always say, like going grocery shopping with her when you guys are like alone together in the car, like one of those rare occasions since you spend 90% of your day in a hot stuffy room playing video games, begging people for your mortgage. So like, let's not get it twisted over here. No one thinks your relationship is that loving. You could be spending far more time with her. In fact, you taking this break and apparently you say your donations are the same, well then that means you can take far more breaks and it shouldn't affect your business at all. But you just want more Hogan pulls and you just want to feed her more DoorDash because that's the only way she's going to stay. There's no love, there's no connection. Anytime you guys are on stream together, it's awkward. And you could say, well, it's because she doesn't like being on camera. And that might be true, but people normally see when someone just isn't attracted to the other party. And that's what happened with you, DSP. Do you guys remember when he pulled Cat on stream for the very first time? They looked relatively happy together because DSP got one up on somebody and Cat got away from a situation she didn't enjoy, but she found herself in another terrible scenario. But the thing about this is she can just sit and sit and sit, and DSP will order her food day in and day out. He's not going to argue with her. He's going to get her what he wants, because if she leaves him, then his entire facade is crumbled around him. The fact that he's this family man, like it's okay to have a cat. Having cats are great. I got a cat. But like saying they're your family members because you don't want to admit you don't have a son with your wife, it's just weird. It really is. And do we even have to mention, I think we touched on it a little bit. We had a little incident with it of DSP like begging fans. Like, yeah, DSP, you beg fans, you had the incident. No one wants to be you. In fact, if they were going to pick people to be on the internet, like they would pick so many other people than you.
Like I said, I haven't figured anything out yet. That's something that I would have to work on my end. What I would have to do is probably have like a site created where someone could go and have a web form filled in with their information, like their name, their YouTube channel or their Twitch channel, information like how much do you stream, Phil, blah, blah, blah. And then basically they would pay this licensing fee either once a month or an annual discount, like a yearly discount to do it for like a year. And then it gives them a contract that says, you are now, here you go. Here's your contract. You have now have the right to do this for this amount of time. If I were to ever take this seriously and take it to court, these people do not want to go all the way because I will own everything they've ever made. Every dollar they ever made restreaming my content, I will recoup. And then legal fees on top of that. They don't want that. So they're all going to settle. They're all going to hit me with nice, big, juicy settlements just to get this to stop so they don't have to bleed in court for years after years. He says, how do the people on Kick pay for their internet that are so poor? Well, I guarantee it's one of two things. Either they leech off of their parents or their grandparents, or they're stealing their neighbor's internet wirelessly. That's what it is. None of them actually have money. You're right. They're just sitting there. No one's contributing. It's ridiculous. Okay. Thank you to Nick Smith for the super chat, the actual support. I appreciate that. I got a $2 tip. Someone says, I like the phrase pocket troll, but you can listen to them sometimes. They might be trying to help. Ooh, pocket trolls? I don't know. Like, for example, I do feel like there's some people who watch sarcastically, but then they do actually every once in a while enjoy themselves. And every once in a while, I get good feedback from people, which I need. I need constructive criticism. I just don't need nonsensical bullshit like, oh, this sucks, this is boring, everything in this sucks, oh, no, no, no. No one cares. But if you actually, like, give advice, I appreciate that. And I am aware that there are people who may not like everything I do, but then every once in a while, you know, they'll actually do something productive, and I appreciate that. I do. I can't believe we had 0 support for Kick today. That's ridiculous. No one on Kick supported the stream at all. Sheesh. Little Jake comes up.
Shit.
If we're gonna hit the goal, we gotta hit it right now. We're at 120 bucks. I can't imagine why we wouldn't be hitting the goal. We've been hitting it every single time for this game, and you guys have loved it. I mean, I'm having a great time with it, right? So will we hit the goal or what? We're right there. Again, if we had had more than 1 sub on Kick, we would have hit the goal much earlier today. That's why we've always actually hit the goal playing this game, is because people had been supporting on Kick, and then today they didn't. So thank you, Daddy Big Bucks, for the 1 sub. Okay, let's see here. In style dinner for tonight. All right, guys, is that it? Are we actually not going to hit the goal? Like, I got to go. So now would be the time, absolute last chance, and we're out of here.
I bet DSP's fans were shivering in their boots when he's talking about a lawsuit, because he's literally like telling them basically, hey, I'm planning on suing people if this would, you know, actually ever come to fruition. He's like, I'm planning on suing people and you guys are going to have to pay for it. That's why DSP isn't sweating all those bills. He's like, you know what? My people got me covered. They'll want to see the detractors go down. And you know that's how he would spin it if this ever came to be. Every single day, DSP would be on stream rallying people. Come on, you know you want to defeat the detractors now. Just open up your wallets, take out a couple more loans, and donate me thousands and thousands of dollars. And your life will be amazing. The DSP content will change forever. Even though the only thing that would change is DSP would just be sitting in complete silence, like giggling at the stupidest jokes every now and then. It would be so much worse. And if his viewers didn't open up their wallets, DSP would be singing the same tune. He's like, oh, I'm in court for so many years, I can't get this settled and I'm bleeding money. Oh, I'm going to have to move out of my gated community. Oh, woe is me, what am I going to do? And then he would spin that into another sympathy party. Like, I don't care who you are, like, even if you think you got a solid case, you are probably going to spend a long time in court and spend way more money than you're initially predicting. Court cases aren't fun, and they're not something you should just be willing to throw around, especially when you beg fans for money 24/7. And it's funny, DSP's like YouTube viewers are laughing at his Kick viewers like, come on, donate. And DSP is having a complete meltdown over. He's like, oh, you're not going to donate on Kick? Well, this stream is about to be over. Like, I'm not going to side stream on Kick anymore. It's just not going to happen. Like, I can't do it if no one's going to donate. And you can see DSP has made $120 out of 150. All right, anyone with the normal mindset would say, hey, that is really good. $120 a stream. Most people aren't getting that. And you're just $30 off from your goal. Who really cares at that point? It's not like you missed it by a whole lot, even if you don't get another donation. But he's having a meltdown over it for no other reason than the fact that he feels entitled to that money. And his YouTube chat is like laughing at Kick. But if DSP was to do the lawsuit, if they were to miss the donations, like the $2,000 daily donations, oh, he'd be acting the same way and they wouldn't even know how to respond. You can't even get loans that fast, but you know, they would have to. They'd have to figure out a way because DSP doesn't know how the real world works. He's been taken care of his entire life. His mom combed his hair until he was 17. And when he moved out, his viewers took care of the rest. DSP has barely had to do anything.
So, that guy does not speak English at all. The guy who just delivered it. So, you know me, I live in a private community. You need to read the instructions. It says where to enter the community from. It tells you the gate code. It tells you where to go in the community to deliver the food. He can't read. The guy's actually illiterate. So he drove up to the front gate, and here I am trying to finish that mission with you guys, and he's clicking the button on the app that says, I have arrived, I have arrived, I have arrived. No, you didn't. You're not outside my house. You're at the front gate. You have the code. You have the instructions. He can't read. So he's just clicking the button like this. So luckily for me, I have a way to just open the gate. So when I saw that, I opened the gate. He drove all the way back here. And then, I'm not kidding, he got out of his car and he just stood there at the front of my house like this, clicking the button again. I have arrived, I have arrived. The instructions specifically say, just drop the food off. and leave. It says just leave it. It's a drop off at the door. He just keeps pressing the button like this. So here I am trying to finish this mission with you guys, and he keeps pinging me to go downstairs. Like, dude, just leave the food. Then I go to get the food. I open the door. The guy, he stares at me like a deer in headlights, okay? Like, am I the guy? I'm like, yes, that's my food. So I take it from him, and he goes, 5-star. I said, what? 5-star. Give 5-star, give 5-star. He wants me to give him a 5-star rating for that stellar delivery. For the record, there's no 5-star. It's either a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and you can click like, oh, it was speedy delivery, took care, was nice. There's no 5-star. So the guy doesn't even know that the company he works for doesn't give 5-star ratings, but he's asking for a 5-star, and that's all he can say. He can't say another word. Welcome to yet another edition of DSP Tries It. Devour. And on today's episode, we're actually going back to a place we just recently did the How to Train Your Dragon meal from Burger King. And it was not bad, actually. I thought that Whopper was decent, and the mozzarella fries or whatever they were decent, okay? It's only about a month later, and people were like, are you aware that Burger King has new stuff? Like, wait, already? All right, well, I guess we'll check it out. So today we're going to be checking out their brand new Whopper, but in addition, we're going to be checking out this drink, which doesn't really look like a drink, does it? And it's incredibly light.
DSP is so disrespectful to anybody doing him anything. If you're donating him hundreds of dollars, well, don't be entitled to anything because I'm just a streamer that you should watch. It's not like I beg for all of that money anyhow, but, you know, just keep watching the stream, keep in line, keep your mouth shut, and I won't ban you. Cool? Cool. And when it comes to his DoorDash drivers, who he probably has a lot of experience with, probably only donates him $1 or $2 nowadays because it all just feels normal to him. He doesn't have to see these people. They just have to go through the gate, drop it off at the door. DSP doesn't even look at him, say hi to him, so they're not really real to him. He gets to live in his fantasy land, and they just gotta skirt off. No interaction with him because DSP is scared of human interaction. In fact, it might do you a little better, the fact that this man made you interact with them, even though apparently he was illiterate. He had more deliveries, and like, you was holding him up. You was actually the nuisance, DSP, in this situation. But besides DSP being completely disrespectful to that man for no other reason besides the fact he didn't speak English and didn't really care to respect your demands, DSP, we're gonna move on to DSP Tries It. Now, I want you guys to understand this is a very special event. Like, the fact we're able to watch this as mere simpletons compared to the high-class DSP viewers because they donated around $900 to $1,000 just to get DSP to eat this meal. And DSP will go on to complain that, you know, it's like, you know, $30 he had to spend on this entire thing. But, you know, that's insane profit. And he tries to get this going like every week. He wants to be eating Burger King every week. And you know what, guys? If I was making $1,000 to eat Burger King, you know what? Why not? I would too. We need a mukbang arc because this is like the highest paying thing DSP has going for him at the moment. Just send him into the closest Burger King. He has to do it in there so he'll complain to all the employees. He'll go up, demand new orders as they come along, and just watch him devour every bit of it. You know, maybe Kat can tag along. You know, I don't care. Maybe that's how she'll open up on camera as well. Really add some sparks back into this relationship.
This is supposed to be called the Cloud Freeze, the cotton candy Cloud Freeze. It's supposed to be a soda that tastes like cotton candy, but it's frozen, and they're supposed to put a whipped topping on top of it. You see a problem with this? You notice something, right? It's not frozen. It's just soda on the bottom, whipped topping on the top. Nothing is frozen in this cup. So I don't know what happened. The thing is, just for the record, the person who got this and delivered it to my home actually got it here within like 20 minutes. So it wasn't like this was sitting in a car. That is one of the most disgusting things I have ever drank in my entire life. That is revolting. It's insanely over-the-top sweet. Like you took a spoonful of sugar and you shoved it into your mouth. but it's got like a weird tanginess, kind of like a weird candy. Like some hard candies have that tangy artificial flavor. Look, it wants to say something to you. Where's the chicken in my chicken wrap? All right, well, let's try to eat it. And my first bite is going to be all tortilla. It's not mayonnaise. It's a tangy sauce that they put on it. I don't know what it is. It's a tangy sauce, and all I ate was tangy sauce and tortilla. There was nothing else in there. Why do I have a tissue in my nose? Because I have a nosebleed, stupid. I just said that. Open your ears. Okay. Insulting me and talking shit while I was eating. He was saying, this has no value. This has no value. No value. Well, that's why there are people here watching. That's why people supported it. That's why I hit all my goals every single stream and why we're doing it. No, it has no value to you because you have no brain. This Whopper is $13 on delivery apps or $11 in person. That is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Again, Whoppers, you could get them 2 for $5 regularly. To say that this is going to be worth 4 to 5 times the value of a single Whopper because they put some toppings on it is nuts, okay? I would never eat this if it weren't for a review. I would never spend $13 on a single item from Burger King. I'm not a moron.
Devour.
If you noticed, I winced. There was a piece of bone in there. I'm not kidding. So as I was chewing, a piece of bone hit my tooth down here and caused me sharp pain. So apparently, not the safest and highest quality of beef brisket if there's bone pieces in it. Okay? Let's continue. I taste the Whopper meat. I taste some of the tomato. I definitely taste the cheese. The one thing that is predominant is the onions. There are way too many of those breaded fried onions on this sandwich, and I just keep tasting them in every bite. Like it's crunch. Every time I bite, it's like crunch, crunch, crunch. I'm tired of it. I don't want to have onions in every bite, but they put so many on there. There's more onions than brisket on the sandwich. So obviously, what am I going to taste more of, right? But nothing else is standing out at all. It's just this tangy sauce, the Whopper meat, some cheese, and onion. That's really all I'm tasting. I haven't tasted a single piece of beef brisket that I've eaten, and I'm eating about a third of the burger so far.
How out of touch with the reality are you that you can't think like this has been sitting in a car for 20 minutes on a summer day and it has melted? Like, why is he so confused that this isn't the same thing that he's ordered? Like, if he was going to get this, he should have went to the store and got it. Like, it's not even that far of a drive for DSP. If he would have hurried up, like DSP like stretches his legs, quote unquote, all of the time, and it takes him like 15 or 20 minutes to get back to stream. If he would like just rush to Burger King real quick, he could have got this same order, probably been back there in the same amount of time, and it would have most likely still been frozen. It would have taken less time than his normal breaks. But no, DSP isn't going to do that. He's not going to interact with people. That's scary. He's got to go into town. No way, people. He now has to cope with his delusions that that drink shouldn't have melted within 20 minutes, but it's just the way it is. It's a faulty drink, you know, something's wrong with it. This is what people pay damn near $1,000 for, guys. And did you notice that everything is tangy? I mean, everything, even the drink. What does tangy even mean? After listening to DSP for a little bit, I have lost the meaning of what tangy is.
Looking at PirateSoftware and how he's crashing out, what advice would you give him to be a survivor of the incident? Well, here's the thing. I don't know the situation with PirateSoftware. You guys got me all confused because you were talking about stop killing games, but then I was seeing this picture of this guy, and I thought he was the guy who was running Stop Killing Games, and everyone was saying this guy is an asshole. No one likes him. This is like the new guy who the entire internet hates. And I was like, oh, so he's just the next DSP poser, I see. Right? I don't know who the hell this Pirate Games guy is or what, anything about him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. But then again, like I said, I've never heard him. I've never read any of his methodology. I don't know why everyone hates him. Besides, everyone says he's a Nepo baby and he pitch changes his voice to sound like he's a deep voice dude because actually he has a high-pitched squeaky mouse voice and he changed it so that people wouldn't make fun of him on the internet. That's all I know about him. I've never been someone who hid and said, oh, I don't want to show you who I am. I know I'm getting older. I know I'm losing some of my hair. I know my hair's getting gray. I'm getting a wrinkly face. My voice has always been this high-pitched, and I'm not trying to hide it. You know what I mean? Like right now, I could put a voice changer on my voice to make my voice sound deeper, but why would I care? I am who I am, and I represent myself as who I am, and I'm not ashamed of who I am. I'm trying to age gracefully. I'm not, trying to pretend like I'm, I'm going to pitch change my voice. I'm going to change my appearance. I'm not doing that. So I don't even understand that, guys like LTG saying work on your sexy. The f are you talking about? I'm an internet gamer and streamer who talks with people on a podcast every day. Why do I have to work on my sexy? I'm not a supermodel who's going to be walking down the runway in Milan showing off Gucci clothes. Like, what the f are you talking about? Exactly. I don't hide the fact that some of my undershirts are longer than the sleeves of my overshirts. I don't give a shit. Why would I give a shit? I'm okay with myself. And it's sad that there's some people out there that just can't do that they have to constantly be working on how they look or how they sound or, you know what I mean? Just stop. Stop and face reality. It doesn't matter. None of it matters. You're wasting your time and everyone laughs at you. Oh my God, I'm so happy to be out of that vortex, let me tell you. 4 months. 4 months I've been out of that shit. I don't have to hear or see any of that shit. It's amazing. It's so refreshing to be back to the normal world outside of the realm of complete morons. Anyway, thanks for a $2 super chat. Oh no. You're Not Funny says, imagine if LTG won the multiverse like in Loki and his statue is everywhere and it reads work on yo sexy. Yeah, or what if LTG was like Kang the Conqueror and there's like 70 billion multiverse versions of him, all slight variations, but they're all equally just as obnoxious and delusional. Oh man. Dude, someone has to make that movie. That would make bank. That's a 500 million to 1 billion view video on YouTube right there. It's hilarious. People don't understand the concept of what felted even means. Are you aware of what the term even means? Okay, felted means you're at a casino, you play your hand, you lose, you have no money. Hence, all you can see in front of you is the felt of the table because you're broke. Get it? So you're felted, you're cashed out, you're bankrupt. All right? So when you send me a contribution to felt me, you are literally doing the opposite. You are putting more money in front of me.
That's some bad revisionist history when it comes to the LTG thing. When LTG made those comments about DSP and he became aware of it, he immediately switched up his style. He quit wearing pajama pants to streams. He started wearing button-ups and flannels. He was trying his best to look good for LTG. If he ever came back to his stream and commented on him again, he even got a haircut. In fact, DSP would go for a while like complaining that he couldn't afford a haircut. Now, he makes sure to get it like on time every time. He's got to look good for his man. And when the Kino Casino arc started, he could not look good for Andy Worski. He loved him some Worski. PPP might have hyped him up, but Worski was what he was after. I mean, he was so invested with the Kino Casino that he actually learned what felted really means. Or maybe that's because of his gambling problems. So one or the other. But back to LTG. When he brings up that LTG, could be like the Kang Conqueror of the world, the Marvel Universe. And I gotta say, Phase 5 was absolutely awful. The MCU ended at Endgame, and Endgame had its own problems, but man, the Marvel Universe really took a turn for the worse after that one. But back to the main point, I don't know, maybe DSP has like a little bit of LTG history he knows about, but if he doesn't, that's just a great coincidence. He's like, LTG would be an actor and he would control everything in the multiverse. If LTG could craft himself into any being in the universe, give himself any power, it would be that, to control the flow of the universe. But he would spend like 99% of his time just trying to perfect himself, find his flaws, and then get a group of people that he could criticize to make them more like himself. But I guess that's enough for me today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, follow all the socials down below, comment, and make sure to follow Duty streams as well. This video wouldn't have been possible without him. And with all that said, guys, I'll catch you next time.